Everyone, this is David Pike, the MotorCity mechanic. Now, in today's video, I want to show you a quick tip on removing and replacing the camshaft position sensor seals on a Chrysler 3.2 and 3.6 liter Pentastar engine. Now, it requires a special tool, but I want to show you a way around that, what you could possibly use that you might have, or where you can go buy something really cheap for installing that, because it's real important on how you do it, because if you don't pay attention, you're still going to have a leak afterwards. So make sure to watch. Now, the Chrysler 3.2 and 3.6 liter Pentastar engines have two camshaft position sensors. Now, each one of those sensors reads the intake and exhaust cam, so technically each one is almost two sensors in itself, and each one of those has a rubber seal, so they can leak. Now, depending on what side of the engine you're working on, which really depends on the vehicle that it's in, you may or may not have to remove this upper intake. So for the sake of just showing how to replace the seal, we're going to jump over to the easy side on this engine that we've got on the stand. We're not going to get into specifics about removing the intake because it's different for every vehicle. Again, we're talking about the seal. Now, one thing that helps when you're getting to it is actually to remove this coil pack. You don't have to, but again, it'll help you to get to everything. Now, the camshaft position sensor does have to be removed, and that has a T30 Torx. Now, typically, you can kind of work these out just by wiggling them. If not, you might have to get a screwdriver up under the bottom edge of the plastic and take it off. And that right there is your camshaft position sensor. Like I said, it can read on both sides, both the intake and exhaust cams. So now that the sensor is removed, you can see the upper portion of the seal. Now, there's more to it that actually kind of protrudes or goes further down inside. Now, I've got two of them right here. These are just samples. They're made from different companies, so they're different colors. So color doesn't mean anything. It just kind of screams that, hey, somebody's been in here before. Other than that, again, color doesn't matter. Now, it's kind of a top hat design. If you look, there's a flat edge down here on the bottom. That's the portion that we see on top of the valve cover. And then there's a bottom edge. Now, the bottom edge actually has a lip. That lip's real important when we go to reinstalling it. Because technically, once you remove this, most people just want to grab the seal, sit it on top, maybe press it down or tap it with a hammer or sock it gently. That's not going to do anything, because if you look at this, it collapses. So whatever you're doing on the top has nothing to do with the bottom. The bottom is actually where the fit is as far as what keeps it snug in the valve cover. That lip is what we're going to be working with. And that lip not only is on the outside, it's on the inside. So we need something that grabs this lip and forces the seal down in there, not the outer perimeter. Now, when it comes to removing the seal, usually all I need is a flat tip screwdriver. Depending on if I need some leverage or not, I might grab one that's got one of these 90-degree bends on it. And I might have to work around the edge and slowly start twisting it or prying it, whatever works. And you might actually protrude through the seal in places. You know, that portion that was kind of squeezing down as we were collapsing it, you might poke through. It doesn't matter, just work your way around. I haven't found one that I couldn't remove yet. Again, this engine's on the stand, so yours may be a little more difficult, but just gently get up under there. It doesn't take much effort, and just gently pop it out. Now, Chrysler offers a special tool for installing this seal. Now, unless you do this every day, I really don't see spending $50 to $100 on just that tool, because that's all it does is install these seals. So what can we do? What can we come up with that's going to fit? Because remember, it's all about this bottom lip. We got it, it's kind of raised on the outside and raised on the inside. So we need something small enough to go inside the hole, but yet large enough to make contact with that lip on the inside as much as possible. So whatever force we're exerting down is pushing the seal in. Now, the tool can't be too long because we've got stuff down inside this valve train, mainly on the exhaust cam where the PCV valve is, that's actually going to stop anything from going too far down in there. So what do we have that might work, or better yet, what can you buy that's really cheap that will actually help you install this? Let's kind of go through what we have maybe in our toolbox. So let's see if we've got something in our toolbox, maybe a socket or something that might work. Everybody's tools are going to be different, so me to just say use a certain socket's going to work for me isn't going to work for you, because everything is different. You might have just chrome sockets versus impacts. Nonetheless, I want you to try what you've got first, because again, we're working with this lip here. So try to find something, you know, in a perfect world, a lip like that would be great. Unfortunately, these are too big. Some sockets are obviously too small, some too big. So maybe we can find something kind of in between, kind of like this one. This one seems to be kind of snug. We might be able to get that to work. Again, there's no harm in trying. If not, I've got kind of a backup plan for you. Again, kind of go through your collection of sockets, see what works. If not, there's something real cheap at a store that everybody pretty much has that will work as well. So it doesn't matter if it's your local Lowe's or Home Depot or maybe an Ace Hardware. Nonetheless, they're probably going to have something inside that will work for us. So make your way to the plumbing section, and what we're looking for is 1 1/4 inch extension tubes. That's a little device for connecting your sink to the P-trap. And for a cost of $4.25, you really can't go wrong. So here are the two options that I came back with. The one on the left here is from Home Depot, and that was just shy of $5. And the one right here came from Ace Hardware, and that's more towards the $8 range. Nonetheless, they're both 1 1/4 6-inch extension tubes. And what's kind of important here that actually makes this work well is this little difference in thickness. This section, the seal can slide down on, but when it gets down to the step up, the larger diameter, it actually holds the seal on that lower ring, which is key to installing it. So what I like to do is this, take it apart. Another cool feature is this portion right here you tighten down is great for palming it and holding the tool. So just put the seal on there, make sure I've got it installed where I like it. Give me a permanent marker, go around the edge. Now what we're going to be doing is cutting this section off. We don't need that anymore. So we're just going to make us a line for cutting. Now you can use a hacksaw, you can use just about any tool you've got, a cutting wheel. And when you go to cut it with something like this, it's probably not going to be perfectly straight because we've got a step there. So everything's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try to get it as close as I can. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. If we need to clean up the edge, so be it. Now when I install the seal on there, I've got my special tool. Now we got something to palm it with so we can actually press it down. So let's go ahead and put it on the engine we've got on the stand so we can see how it works. So back over at the engine, we've got our seal on our homemade special tool, and all we're going to do is insert it inside the opening on the valve cover and kind of gently start rocking it down, and then we can actually palm it if we need to, give it a little bit of force to get it fully seated. You'll know if it's seated if you look around the outside edge and the outer lip looks to be pretty much flush. At that point, I'm just going to gently rock it out. And now we can go ahead and reinstall the camshaft position sensor. Again, from what we learned on this video, we're not dealing with the outer edge. It's the inner lip that we're fully seating into the valve cover. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it's going to leak. I've seen that too many times where people didn't pay attention and didn't even know how to install it because there's not really good directions on that other than grab special tool, blah, blah, blah. Yep, now we can for less than $10. So now to watch this video, you know how to make you a special tool and you know how to properly install that seal so that way it doesn't leak again. Now, if you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up on YouTube. Don't forget you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you got any comments or suggestions about any future videos or anything you saw in today's video, you can leave something in the comments below. Also, if you shop on Amazon, which everybody does, scroll down into that description below this video. There is a link. Click on that link, make that your Amazon homepage, and anytime you buy something, you will be helping to support this channel. Once again, everybody, thanks for watching all these videos.